Welcome back to Wrestling Report. On today's video we have Kenny Omega taking jabs at Bryan Danielson. Roman Reigns dominates the entire wrestling industry. Who tried to block Chelsea Green from working at Ring of Honor? Taryn Terrell was assaulted. Kenny Omega taking jabs at Bryan Danielson. Kenny Omega, Bryan Danielson and Seth Rollins are some of the biggest names in pro wrestling right now. However, going back to 2008, Danielson and Rollins were on the rise in Raw, while Omega was still trying to learn. The three stars worked a triple threat match at Ring of Honor's Bound by Hate show. A fan on Twitter noted that Monday was the 13-year anniversary of the show. Omega responded to the tweet and took a jab at Danielson and storyline, while also mentioning Rollins. He wrote, "I just wanted to go out and have a great match. Ended up being the first time I had to super glue a cut closed. Seth never did me wrong like you did, Bryan. I won't forget that." Omega is slated to make his next title defense as the E World Heavyweight Champion against Danielson at Saturday's Full Gear pay-per-view event. Roman Reigns dominates the entire wrestling industry. Drew McIntyre had been the top star on the WWE Raw brand for the last 2 years, while Roman Reigns is still the Universal Champion on SmackDown. As part of this year's draft, McIntyre was sent to SmackDown while Reigns was kept on the Blue brand. Eventually, their paths will cross. This is something that McIntyre is looking forward to happening in the future. He praised Reigns while doing an interview with Sky Sports and also explained why he doesn't want the bout to happen right now. Yeah, he's on fire. There's nobody close to him in the entire wrestling industry. That's why everyone keeps saying to me, Drew and Roman, that's what's going to happen. I'm sure it's inevitable that's going to happen, but I don't want it to happen right now. McIntyre stated that Reigns has all of the momentum right now, and he considers himself a patient man after being in the wrestling business for over 20 years, so he wants to keep building up his own momentum and get wins. I want him to have to watch and go, alright, I know what this guy can do. We fought each other in Survivor Series last year. His cousins of course interfered, he low-blowed me, and eventually choked me out. That's cool, he knows what I'm capable of these days, and I want him to have to watch me build up momentum, and when the time is right, we come together, and it's going to be a huge match for us as superstars, but especially for fans. When the time is right though." Who tried to block Chelsea Green from working at Ring of Honor? On the latest Green with Envy podcast, former WWE star Chelsea Green said that someone at NXT tried to block her from working at Ring of Honor. Green says that someone called to tell Raw management not to hire her. Green said, "A little birdie told me that when I debuted at Ring of Honor this summer, someone at the top of the NXT food chain called them to tell them that they shouldn't hire me. Let me just get this straight. When I got fired from WWE, someone at the top of the NXT food chain called the company who was about to hire me to help me to provide food for my family and for myself, and told them not to hire me." Green did not give out the identity of this person, but she called them out for being petty for trying to block her from getting work elsewhere. Green continued, "This is just me being petty and telling the world a little bit of tea, but I can't believe a company would fire somebody and then block them from getting a job somewhere. It makes me sad, really sad." Green also said that she's thankful for everything she has been able to do since she was released by WWE earlier this year. "On the flip side, I'm just so thankful to have had all those opportunities come my way since being released from WWE, and for Ring of Honor putting faith in me and not listening to the big old F machine." Was Taryn Terrell assaulted? Former WWE and Impact Wrestling star Taryn Terrell is one of 3 women who have added their name to a lawsuit that says that they were assaulted at the Biltmore Hotel in Miami. NBC6 Miami reports that the lawsuit names Oscar Ayeda as the person who allegedly committed the assault. Terrell said that she was initially mad at herself and she froze in fear, and she was terrified when the assault happened. The story notes that Ayeda was arrested last May, and there was a prior complaint in 2017 against him, but he was not removed from his job at the time. Terrell said that she spoke out because she didn't want someone else to go through what happened to her, and she is heartbroken to know that it happened again after she was assaulted. John Layfield says Eddie Guerrero came up with some of the lines for the JBL character. John Bradshaw Layfield joined Christy Olson on adfreeshows.com this week to take some fan questions about his wrestling career. Layfield talked about the friendship he had with Eddie Guerrero. Eddie would call me all times of the day and night and give me ideas for promos. He said to tell them, my ancestors came over here in a boat, not an inner tube. I said, Eddie, you're going to get me killed. Sometimes we would be in the ring, and I would be cutting a promo. He would send into the referee some phrase he would want me to say, sometimes in Spanish, sometimes in English. Especially the Southwest in front of huge Latino audiences, I would always say it and people would get so furious. That was all Eddie. Eddie really liked the JBL character. Eddie was a groomsman in my wedding. I did part of the eulogy at his funeral. I wish he was still here today. We were close friends. He really took pride in getting JBL over. If JBL had anybody else other than Eddie, it probably would have been a one-off at the Staples Center. I don't think JBL would have been around another PPV. I think I probably would have retired, probably within a few months, but because of Eddie, he made JBL, and then I had a pretty good run with it. I had to retire because of my back. When I lost to Rey Mysterio the first time in whatever match it was, I think it was an I Quit match, or whatever it was, that was because my back had gotten bad really quick all of a sudden, and they told me I needed to get out of the ring. I got out of the ring, and I had the opportunity to do commentary. I really enjoyed it, but I really wanted to get back in the ring, because I didn't want to leave the ring. I was really enjoying what I was doing. My back, I thought it had gotten better, after whatever period it was. It wasn't that long. That's why I took the opportunity to get back in the ring. I probably should have never done it. I probably should have just stayed retired. But that's why I got off the commentary desk was because of the fact that I thought I could get back in the ring. My heart was always in wrestling. I would have wrestled to this day if I could have, but my body gave out on me. Layfield was asked if the JBL character could have debuted after himself and Ron Simmons got split up due to the brand split in 2002. There's a couple answers to that. The biggest thing that happened during that time was after 9/11s, I was going to Iraq a lot. I was doing a lot of stuff with the soldiers. I was going to Walter Reed. I'm not sure. I've never talked to Vince about it, so I don't have this from him personally, but I have the feeling they didn't really want me to be a heel at that time because of what was going on in the country, and I was going to Iraq and Afghanistan quite a bit. So, they didn't really need the JBL character. It was fine with me just being Bradshaw at that point. They didn't really have a lot for me, but that was fine as well. They came upon a need when Eddie Guerrero got the title because Big Show was hurt, Kurt Angle was hurt, and Brock Lesnar left the company. There were a whole host of things that happened at the same time, and they needed that character right away. That's when they needed a main event guy against Eddie Guerrero, so I just got lucky. I had a torn bicep, a hernia surgery, another hernia surgery, and after the second hernia surgery, I thought I was retired. All of a sudden this break came, and they needed somebody for Eddie in 6 weeks at the Staples Center. It was quite a shock when they told me. I was thrilled to be able to bring out the JBL character at that point. As far as coming in earlier, they didn't need it. That was just a moment in time that they did, and fortunately, it was kind of on the front burner of Vince's mind that when he needed it, he was able to pull it out.